A few days ago, I bought this iPad for just $1, and that sounds completely ridiculous. Even the cheapest old iPads usually sell for well over $100. So naturally, I was skeptical, but I couldn't stop wondering just how bad a $1 iPad could really be, and whether it could still play Minecraft. So I bought it, and honestly, I was fully prepared for the possibility that I'd just been scammed. Oh my god! It arrived in a mysterious box, and the word mystery printed on the side immediately made me laugh. Honestly, it looked more like a shoebox from some clothing or sneaker brand than packaging for an iPad. At this point, I was just hoping there was actually an iPad inside. So, let's open it. Wait a second, this feels like an iPad. No way. Oh no, it's just an old beat-up case. Seriously? This thing isn't even worth $1. Did I just get scammed? Hold on. What's that underneath? No way. There's actually an iPad in here. Oh my god, look at that. A genuine $1 iPad. And wow, it's huge. Putting it next to my newer iPad, the size difference isn't nearly as dramatic as I expected. Even after all these years, it still feels like a proper tablet. Of course, there's a catch. The front glass is heavily cracked. You can see damage all across the screen. But honestly, that's still a much better outcome than opening the box and finding nothing but that destroyed old case. This is an iPad Air 1, originally released back in 2013. When it launched, it started at around $500, which makes it almost unbelievable that I managed to buy one for just a single dollar. But enough about the price. The real question is, does it still work? Let's find out. I pressed the power button. Nothing. No signs of life whatsoever. I was pressing that power button so much I was starting to worry I'd break it. Surely the seller didn't send me a completely dead iPad, right? Alright, let's try plugging it in for a while. Oh my god. There it is. The screen just came to life. It looks like this iPad simply hadn't been used for a very long time, and the battery was completely drained. That's a huge relief. For a moment, I thought the whole project was over before it even started. But then another problem appeared, and honestly, this one might be even worse. The iPad is locked. It's still protected by a passcode, something I definitely wasn't expecting. I started trying a few obvious combinations. You know, the kinds of passcodes people always seem to use. The usual suspects. But my luck had officially run out. Not only did I fail to guess the code, I accidentally entered the wrong password so many times that the iPad disabled itself. Fantastic. Now I'm locked out completely. At this point, I'm staring at the screen wondering, what am I supposed to do now? The only thing I could do was contact the seller and ask if he could provide the password. But what happened next completely caught me off guard. He immediately asked for around $20 if I wanted it. Oh my god, this $1 iPad was starting to feel like a trap. It was basically as if I'd paid full price for the device all along. The $1 price tag was just bait hiding the real cost behind it. And let's be honest, this iPad is so old that most people don't even use one anymore. It felt like the seller was using this trick to make an outdated device seem cheaper than it really was. As if that wasn't bad enough, the problems didn't stop there. Besides the cracked glass, the display assembly was starting to separate from the frame, leaving small gaps where dust could easily get inside. And trust me, this thing was filthy. I also noticed a vertical line running near the left edge of the display. At that point, there was no way I was spending another $20 on this iPad, because if I did, this would no longer be a $1 iPad challenge. And that completely defeats the purpose of this video. So I had one last pretty risky idea, trying to bypass it. At this point, this might be my only chance to actually use this iPad before giving up on it completely. But before we go any further, I want to make one thing very clear. This is not a tutorial. I'm not going to show the exact steps, tools, or process because this can easily cross a line and may violate YouTube's rules. And somehow, the $1 iPad was finally unlocked. Perfect. Now let's take a look at what this thing can actually do. To be honest, it's still surprisingly responsive. For a device that cost me only $1, I definitely don't feel like I wasted my money. My biggest hope is that it'll be able to run Minecraft. But before we get there, I noticed something important. The iPad is running iOS 12.5, and that's as far as it can go. The hardware is simply too old to support newer versions of iOS. That immediately creates a problem. I can't install a lot of modern apps anymore. YouTube, Facebook, and many other apps either aren't supported or require a newer version of iOS. And even if they did work, there's another issue. Because of the passcode reset process earlier, I can't sign into the App Store with an Apple ID and download apps the normal way. So my options are pretty limited. At this point, the only thing I can really do is use Safari and see how much life is left in this old tablet. Let's start with something simple, watching YouTube through the browser. OMG, it's actually pretty smooth. There was hardly any noticeable stuttering while watching videos. The only downside is that I could only watch at 360p, probably because the hardware is simply too old. As for the speakers, I really don't have any complaints. Fine and surprising. Now for the camera. Compared to my second generation iPad Pro, the difference is huge. The camera on this $1 iPad is much blurrier and noticeably noisier. Now it's time to find out whether Minecraft can run on this old, completely outdated $1 iPad. This is actually a huge challenge for me. Without an iCloud account, I can't download anything normally. I searched online for a solution, hoping someone had figured this out before. But no matter how much I searched, I could barely find anyone showing how to install Minecraft on an iPad this old. That only made me more uncertain. At this point, the chances of getting Minecraft running on this device felt very low. At this point, the only option I had left was to install Minecraft without using the App Store. And honestly, that comes with some risks. The basic idea is to download an IPA file and install it manually. But doing that is always a little sketchy because there's no guarantee where the file came from. It worked. The installation completed successfully. You can actually see the Minecraft icon sitting there on the home screen. That was a huge relief. Now it's time to launch it. Oh my god, I'm in. Pojav Launcher actually opened. Alright, let's set everything up. For the username, I'm using my channel name. Then I need to choose a game version. There are a lot of different versions available here, but because this iPad is so limited in terms of hardware, I'm going with Minecraft 1.7.10. It should give me the best chance of getting the game to run. Now for the moment of truth. Let's start the game. Oh no, an error message. Apparently there's some kind of issue with the offline account not being compatible with the launcher. Okay, no problem. I'll try signing in with an online account instead. Oh no, another error? This time it looks like the connection to Microsoft's servers has failed. At this point, I'm not even trying to play Minecraft anymore. I'm just trying to get past the login screen. And somehow, I've managed to get completely stuck before the game has even started. After a lot of trial and error, I finally realized what was wrong. There were no game files here. None of the essential Minecraft data needed to launch the game had actually been downloaded, and that gave me an idea. What if all it needed was the missing game files? Then I suddenly remembered something. In a previous project, I built a mini PC using Samsung DeX, and that machine was already running Pojav Launcher successfully. So instead of trying to download everything again on this old iPad, I decided to take a shortcut. I grabbed a USB drive and copied the Minecraft files directly from my Samsung DeX setup. If my theory was correct, all I had to do was transfer those files to the iPad, and the launcher might finally have everything it needs to start the game. The file transfer is finally complete. You can see that 8 new folders have been copied over. At this point, there's only one thing left to do. Let's try launching the game again. OMG, the error message is gone. No way. I genuinely can't believe what I'm seeing. It's actually working. Minecraft is launching. This is insane. Oh yeah! Look at this $1 iPad struggling to load the world. For some reason, watching it fight for its life is incredibly satisfying. Honestly, I can't hide how excited I am right now. After everything that's happened, I wasn't sure I'd ever get this far. Now let's see what kind of performance we're getting. Oh my god, 9 frames per second. That's rough. Really rough. So I jumped into the settings menu and lowered everything I could to the minimum. Then I tried again, and look at that, 23 frames per second. That's a huge improvement. In the best case scenarios, I even saw the frame rate climb above 40 frames per second. Is it perfectly smooth? Not really, but we also have to remember what we're working with here. This is a very old iPad that cost me exactly $1. Considering its age, I'm honestly not going to complain. After all the unexpected problems, dead ends, and failed attempts, I finally managed to convince this thing to run Minecraft. And for me, that's already a win. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below.